Welcome to the Computer and Digital Skills Development course developed within the Erasmus Plus project InterClub, Intercultural Lab for Migrants Inclusion. In this course, we will look at the key concepts related to hardware and software, how to manage files, folders, and applications in Windows or macOS environments, the concept of network, how to find information and use a browser to surf the internet. We will analyze the most common video conferencing tools, how to send, receive, and manage emails using the Gmail client, what are the potential threats to our computers, and how best to protect ourselves. What is a computer? A computer is a device capable of transforming data into information. It has the ability to store, retrieve, and process a wide range of information. Computers make it possible to create documents, send emails, play video games, and surf the web. But they also offer a wide range of other possibilities, such as creating and editing spreadsheets, watching videos, and listening to all kinds of music. When the term computer is mentioned, the first thing that usually comes to mind is a personal computer, such as a desktop computer or laptop. However, it is important to note that computers come in all shapes and sizes and perform different functions in everyday life. Desktop computers are designed to sit on a desk. The word desktop comes from the words desk and top. These systems are usually made up of several components, including the case, the monitor, keyboard, and mouse. On average, desktops tend to perform better than other types of computers on the market. Laptops, also known as notebooks, are compact computing devices designed for easy transportation and characterized by the presence of a rechargeable battery. There are also netbooks on the market, which are even smaller versions of laptops, usually with less power. Tablets are electronic devices even smaller and lighter than laptops. These devices are characterized by the direct use of the hands on a large touchscreen, replacing the traditional mouse and keyboard. A well-known example of tablet is Apple's iPad. In addition to the types of computer mentioned above, there are other forms of computers that we use on a daily basis, although we do not always think of them as such. Here are some common examples. Servers are a specific category of computers that provide information over computer networks to other devices that request it. For example, when you browse the internet, you are actually accessing information stored on specific servers. Intelligent mobile devices, such as smartphones, enable many activities similar to traditional computers, such as browsing the internet, listening to music, watching movies, and playing games. These devices are commonly referred to as smartphones. We also have wearable devices, a category of electronic devices designed to be used throughout the day, including fitness trackers and smartwatches. Consoles are a specific category of computers used primarily for playing video games, whether exclusively or not. Smart TVs provide access to a wide range of online content. For example, a smart TV can stream video directly to the TV screen without the need for an external computer. In general, personal computers currently available on the market can be divided into two distinct categories, PCs and Macs. Both categories are valid, but there are aesthetic differences and many people prefer one over the other based on available budget or personal preference. The first PC was introduced by IBM in 1981. Subsequently, other companies began producing similar computers, first known as IBM Compatible and later simply as PCs. PCs are the most common type of personal computer on the market today, usually running the Microsoft Windows operating system. The Macintosh, commonly abbreviated to Mac, is a line of personal computers designed, manufactured, and marketed by Apple since 1984. The distinguishing feature of the Macintosh was that it was the first desktop computer to introduce a graphical user interface, also known as GUI. All current Macs use the Mac OS operating system. Hardware and software are the two fundamental components of any computer system. In fact, any computer, network, or device is made up of a physical part that serves as a medium and the software that is used on a daily basis. The difference between hardware and software is easy to explain. Hardware is the physical part, the tangible material component of a computer system, and is made up of electrical, electronic, and mechanical devices, while software is all the programs that enable the computer or computer system to perform the functions we need. Hardware and software are therefore intimately linked. Without software, the hardware of a computer would have no function. Without the hardware necessary to perform the action dictated by the software would be useless. The components of a typical computer can be divided into two main categories, internal and external. Internal hardware includes components that are designed to be installed inside the computer, play an essential role, and are housed inside the case. External components, on the other hand, connect to the computer from the outside and, although not necessary for the operation of the system, enhance the overall experience in various ways. The processor, also known as the Central Processing Unit (CPU), runs the programs that organize information in the computer, telling it what data to process and how to do it. Without a processor, it would be not possible to run programs on a computer. It is often referred to as the brain of the computer because it contains the circuitry needed to process input, store data, and produce output. Processor speed is measured in gigahertz, and a higher speed generally corresponds to faster computer performance. The memory unit allows the computer to store data and information. Like human memory, there is both short-term memory (RAM) and long-term memory (hard disk or disk). RAM (random access memory) and ROM (read-only memory) are used to store the computer's data and allow the processor to access them directly. Specifically, RAM is used to temporarily store the information currently being used in the computer. It is a volatile memory whose contents are erased each time the computer is turned off, while ROM is used to permanently store the instructions that tell a computer how to start up, thus regulating the correct loading of the operating system. Instead, the hard drive (SSD), which can be internal or external, is used to permanently store data and application. The motherboard is the main component that connects and coordinates all the other components and peripherals in your computer. It distributes energy where it is needed and communicates with all other components. It is one of the most important pieces of hardware in the computer, and all other components are connected to it either directly on the circuit board or indirectly via USB ports to form the computer system. The graphics card or video card is a hardware device that connects to the motherboard and allows the computer to display images on the screen. Its graphics processing unit (GPU) is similar to the computer's CPU, but is specifically designed to perform the complex mathematical and geometric calculation required for graphics. Sound cards are internal hardware devices that connect to your motherboard and allow your computer to play sound. They also allow microphones to be connected for audio input into the computer. The power supply is where power is supplied to the computer from an external source and distributed from the motherboard to the individual hardware components. In a laptop, all the hardware components are integrated, just as in a smartphone, where the same elements are integrated into an even smaller device. Computer hardware can be internal, as the one we mentioned above, and external. For example, the front of the case houses the CD, DVD, and Blu-ray optical drives, the floppy disk drive, no longer found on modern computers, and possibly a memory card reader, while the rear has a number of ports, including the ever popular USB port, for connecting external peripherals. Among these peripherals we found the mouse, an external PC peripheral that allows direct interaction with the elements displayed on the computer screen. There are different types and shapes of mouse, but they generally have a primary button, usually the left button, a secondary button, usually the right button, and a central wheel that allows you to scroll vertically through documents or pages. Other important peripherals of the computers are the keyboard, an external peripheral used primarily for entering text and issuing commands to the computer, or the monitor, an external PC peripheral device that displays text and images generated by the graphics card. The size of the screen is measured in inches, and the resolution, expressed in pixels, indicates the quality with which images are reproduced on the monitor. There are two main types of monitors: CRT, cathode ray tube monitors, and LCD, liquid crystal display monitors. CRT monitors are no longer used because LCD monitors are lighter, thinner, and use less energy. We also have the printer, an external computer peripheral used to transfer images and text from the PC to a sheet of paper. The two main types of printer are inkjet printers, which are suitable for printing small quantities and use color or black and white ink cartridges, and laser printers, which are faster and suitable for printing large quantities of documents and use color or black and white toners. Other important peripheral devices are the scanner, an external computer peripheral that allows documents or photos to be digitized, transferring images or text from paper to digital format on the computer. The speakers, an external computer peripheral responsible for reproducing the sounds produced by the PC's sound card. There are usually two speakers to create a stereo effect, but some models also include a subwoofer for a better sound quality. To finish, we have the modem, an external computer peripheral that, in combination with a router, allows the computer to connect with the internet. The modem is responsible for establishing the connection with the internet service provider. Now we will introduce the concept of software. The term software was originally coined by Alan Turing and later adopted by John W. Tukey in 1957. There are several categories of software, including operating systems and software applications, which include programs and apps for smartphones and tablets. An operating system is a set of programs and utilities that make your computer run. It manages the computer's memory, processes, and hardware in general. In essence, a computer would be useless without an operating system. Operating systems perform basic tasks, such as recognizing keyboard input, sending output to the screen, managing files and directories on the hard disk, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drives and printers. In practice, an operating system acts as an intermediary between the computer user and the hardware itself, to provide an environment in which the user can run programs conveniently and efficiently. The core of an operating system is called the kernel. The structure of an operating system. Process management. The operating system allocates and releases resources to processes, often managing the simultaneous execution of multiple processes. Memory management. This includes the management of primary memory, such as RAM, which stores programs and data needed for the processor to execute commands or programs. The operating system loads programs from secondary memory, such as the hard disk, into primary memory for execution. It also manages allocation and deallocation of memory space for programs running on the computer. Peripherals management manages signals to and from peripheral devices. File system. The operating system controls and manages files on secondary storage devices. Command interpreter. User requests to the operating system are executed through the command interpreter. User-machine interface. Management of the way in which the user communicates with the computer. There are many types of operating systems. The most common include Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Android. There are many other operating systems, such as Google's Chrome OS, and different versions of each. Many people consider the disadvantages of Windows to be that it is not secure as other operating systems and tends to be less stable, although it is the most widely used operating system for PCs. Apple's Mac OS offers a different experience to Windows PCs. This operating system can be more intuitive for some tasks because it is designed to resemble the design of Apple's popular consumer electronics products, such as the iPhone and iPad. Apple products are generally considered the benchmark for user experience but they tend to be more expensive than Windows PCs or other operating systems. Google's Android, on the other hand, is an open source platform that can be used by anyone for free and is widely used on smartphones and tablets. Another typology of software is the application software. The application software is a specialized type of software that fully exploits the capabilities of a computer to directly perform a task desired by the user, and includes database, word processing, and spreadsheet programs. These applications run on top of the system software and interact with the hardware through the operating system. Microsoft Office Suite is probably the most famous example of application software. Within the suite, we find various software for Windows and Mac operating systems, including Microsoft Word, a word processor for creating and editing text; Microsoft Excel, a spreadsheet software for performing calculation that also offers graphical tools, pivot tables, and language support for programming macros; Microsoft PowerPoint, a software that allows you to create and edit the slides that make up your final presentation; Microsoft Outlook, a software that acts as an email client. Another type of application software are web browsers. Web browsers such as Google Chrome and Safari allow users to easily browse the internet. How they work will be explained later in this module. Another feature of operating system is file management. Windows offers the possibility to create, move, edit, or even delete both individual files and entire folders thanks to the File Explorer tool provided by Windows. You can open File Explorer by simply clicking its icon in the taskbar or by searching for it using the search bar. In the window that opens, it is possible to view the entire contents of the computer. On the left, there is a list of all the resources available on the computer, and on the right, there is the content of the resource selected in the list on the left. The main drive is usually marked with the letter C. You can also see the Windows icon in the picture. Double-clicking on local disk C or any other folder will display its contents. Let us now see which are the main directories that generally characterize local disk C and what they contain. Programs. This folder contains all the data relating to the 64-bit software installed on the operating system. There may also be a folder called Program per 86 for software written in 32-bit. Users. Folder in which all files saved by individual users of the computer are stored. Windows. Folder in which the internal operating system is stored, so less experienced users are advised not to enter it. To perform any operation on folders and files, it is therefore necessary to access the directory that contains a particular file or the location of the folder itself. Typically, click a file or folder icon once to select it and twice to open it. Double-clicking an application icon runs the application and opens a window of that application, while double-clicking a document created by an application automatically opens the application, if it was not already opened, and opens the selected document. It will be therefore possible to create a new folder by right-clicking on the right-hand side of the File Explorer window and selecting New Folder. Rename folder as well as a file by right-clicking and selecting Rename. Delete a folder as well as a file by right-clicking on it and selecting Delete. Move a folder as well as a file by dragging the item from the source folder to the destination folder. Deleted files and folders are not immediately deleted from the system. They are sent to the recycle bin. You can restore an accidentally deleted file from the recycle bin by simply right-clicking it and selecting Restore. The recycle bin icon is located on the Windows desktop. We will now explain how file management works on Mac OS. Like Windows, Mac OS also offers the possibility of creating, moving, editing, or even deleting both individual files and entire folders, thanks to the Finder tool, which is precisely the starting point of the Mac. The Finder icon appears as a blue smiling face in the dock. In the window that opens, it is possible to view the entire contents of the computer. On the left, there is a list of all the resources available on the computer, and on the right, there is the content of the resource selected in the list on the left. The main drive is usually called Macintosh HD. We will now list the main default folders and their contents. Applications. This folder contains all the applications installed on macOS. Documents. Word processing documents, spreadsheets, presentation, etc. are stored in this folder. Downloads. All files downloaded from the internet are stored in this folder. Music. The iTunes library is stored in this folder. Pictures. The photo library is stored in this folder. Movies. Movie and photo boot movies are stored in this folder. Desktop. Items on the desktop are stored in this folder. In macOS, as in Windows, you click once on a file or folder icon to select it, and twice to open it. Double-clicking an application icon runs the application and opens a window of that application, while double-clicking a document created by an application automatically opens the application, if it was not already open, and opens the selected document. It will therefore be possible to create a new folder by right-clicking in the Finder and choosing New Folder. Rename a folder as well as a file by right-clicking and selecting Rename. Delete a folder as well as a file by right-clicking on it and selecting Move to Trash. Move a folder as well as a file by dragging the item from the source folder to the destination folder. Get information about a folder or file with creation date, modification date by right-clicking and selecting Get Information. Duplicate a folder as well as a file by right-clicking on it and selecting Duplicate. Deleted files and folders are not immediately removed from the system as they are sent to the trash. It is possible to recover an accidentally deleted file from the trash by simply right-clicking on it and selecting Restore. The trash icon can be found in the macOS dock. Now we will talk about file management on cloud. Storing files locally on your computer has limitations, such as the usability of the files and the space available, which in the long run could reduce the performance of the device as the memory fills up, as well as being an unsafe solution because without regular backups, if the hardware fails and needs to be replaced, all the data it contains will be damaged and most likely lost. Cloud solutions are gaining more and more ground in this area. Cloud storage allows data and files to be stored on the internet through a cloud computing provider, accessed via the public internet or a dedicated private network connection. The provider securely stores, manages, and maintains storage servers, infrastructures, and network to ensure access to data when you need it, on a virtually unlimited scale and with elastic capacity. Cloud storage eliminates the need to purchase and manage your own data storage infrastructure, offering agility, scalability, and durability, with access to data anywhere, anytime. One of the most popular programs is Google Drive, Google's own application. It is a cloud storage tool that allows users to store and share multimedia files that can be used via the web by all the devices connected to this space and these files. The files are synchronized in the cloud with the latest versions stored in the memory, and the update takes place in real time. While you are working on a file in the cloud, you can quickly share it via a link with anyone you want to give access. You can also choose whether you want the other person to be able to edit the file or just view it. Google Drive, like most cloud services, allows editing. It has the possibility to edit documents shared between the various users with permissions. Versioning. It has viewing different versions of the same document stored in the cloud. In this case, it will be possible to revert to the previous versions by restoring the file. Sharing. It has making a document available to other users so that they can simply view it. A Google account is required to use the service. Each account comes with 15 GB of free storage, which can be increased by subscribing to one of the Google One plans. Google Drive offers a wide range of features. Firstly, it allows to create new files or upload documents that are already on your computer. Once created or uploaded, the file is immediately available to all connected accounts. You can also choose not to share a file with other users and to do so later. Files can be organized into folders to maintain a personalized order and make it easier to find the documents you need. Second, Drive lets you view documents in many different ways. In addition to the search options provided by the internal search engine, documents can be organized alphabetically, by date of last change, or by author. You can also view documents in Drive either as a list or as a file grid. Different options can be found in the Google Drive menu on the left. My Files, files uploaded or created by the space owner that are also accessible to other users with permissions. Shared with me. These are the files that other users have shared with the owner of the shared space. A final feature of Google Drive is the ability to backup to a personal hard drive, so that an up-to-date version of the cloud is always available in case any files are accidentally deleted. Now we will introduce the application management topic, starting from Windows. On Windows operating systems, you can install software either from the Microsoft Store, an area for authorized developers introduced in Windows 8, or from the official website of the company or organization running the program. Never install software from unverified sources or from unknown developers. The Microsoft Store is an excellent place to start searching for software available on Windows and requires an internet connection and a Microsoft account. To access it, simply click on the Microsoft Store icon in the PC's taskbar. You can also find the Microsoft Store icon on the Start menu or by searching for the store using the search button. Once you are in the Microsoft Store, use the dedicated search bar to find the program you want and click Get and then Install to download it. To download pet programs, you will need to verify your identity using the appropriate method, password entry, fingerprint, etc., and link your credit card or debit card. Once downloaded, you can find the program in the Start menu or by using the search button. All software available from the Microsoft Store is guaranteed to be safe by Microsoft, which acts as an intermediary between developers and users. Another popular way to install application on Windows is to use .exe executable files. The .exe extension is typical of Microsoft operating system installation files and is designed to be run and installed on Windows. Installing these files is simple. You need to download the installation file in .exe format from the supplier's website or from a reliable source. When downloading directly from the internet, you can choose, depending on your web browser, to save the installation file on your computer, usually in the Downloads folder, or to cancel the operation. Some browsers, such as Microsoft Edge and other versions, may start the download automatically. In this case, you can follow the progress of the download at the bottom of your web browser. Once you have finished downloading the .exe file, simply double-click it to start the installation process. Once the .exe file has been launched, a warning window may appear on your computer. If you are sure of the source of the installation file, click Yes and continue with the installation. At this point, if you have followed all the previous steps correctly, the actual installation window, also known as the installer, will open. During this wizard, you will have to accept the conditions proposed by the software by clicking on Next or Continue, and then select the software installation location. How to uninstall apps installed on Windows? There is one main method for successfully uninstalling downloaded programs installed on your computer. Here's how. Open Windows Settings and in the new window that opens, select Programs. This section allows you to manage the installation and uninstallation of your programs. In the new window, make sure you are on the Apps and Features tab. You can check the left sidebar of the window and click Apps and Features, again if necessary. Next, locate the app you want to uninstall by using the dedicated search bar or by scrolling down the list on the right-hand side of the page. Once you have found the application you want to uninstall, click on it to display the Uninstall button and select Uninstall. Follow the wizard to complete the process successfully. Application management on Mac OS. Even on Mac OS operating systems, it is possible to install software either from the App Store, the area dedicated to Apple-approved developers, or from the official website of the company or organization running the application. The same warning always applies. Never install software from unverified sources or unknown developers. Again, an internet connection and an Apple account are required to access the App Store. To access it, just click the App Store icon in the Mac's dock or in the Launchpad, also available in the dock. Once in the App Store, use the dedicated search bar to find the desired app, then click Get and Download to download it. Once downloaded, simply launch it directly from the Launchpad. Another common way to install applications on macOS is to use DMG executable files. The DMG extension is typical of installation files for macOS operating systems. You must download the installation file in .dmg format from the supplier's website or a reliable source. You can choose where to save the installation file on your computer. Once the download is complete and the .dmg file is opened, the installation window will appear. Here, you simply need to drag the icon of the application to be installed into the Applications folder. Both icons will appear in the installation window. Sometimes you will find an installation file with a .pkg extension, very often contained in a .dmg file. To install it, you need to double-click on the file to run it. The Windows-style installation procedure will then start, and you will need to follow all the instructions to complete the process. All installation files are mounted by the system. Instead, they are recognized and started as a kind of virtual hard drive, similar to a USB stick, hard drive, or external drive, each time an installation is performed. Once the installation has started, you will find the icon of the installation file on your MacBook's desktop or taskbar. Note that the installation may start automatically when you download an application from the internet. After installing the application of your choice, it is a good idea to unmount the DMG file to free up some computer space. This can be done by simply right-clicking on the installer icon on the desktop and selecting Eject. Alternatively, to unmount or eject the installer file, drag the installer icon, also known as the installer, to the trash of the Mac OS operating system. There are two ways to uninstall an application installed on Mac OS. Number 1. Open the Finder and select the Applications folder in the left column. From here, select the application you're interested in, right-click on it, and then click Move to Trash. Number 2. Open the Launchpad and hold down the Option key on the keyboard. All apps will move with an animated effect, and all apps downloaded from the App Store will now have an X next to their icon. Click the X of the app you want to delete, then click Delete. Now we will introduce the topic of computer networks. What is a computer network? A computer network is an infrastructure consisting of two or more devices connected by wire or cable to transmit and share data, and includes hardware, router, switches, access points, cabling, and software, operating systems and management applications, backups, etc. Among the recurring terms relating to a computer network, the most important are nodes, i.e. the connection points through which data is created, sent, received, and stored. Basically, a node is a device connected to the network that can communicate with other nodes using an identification system such as an IP address. The main nodes of a computer network include servers, computers, printers, storage systems, and any endpoint connected to the network via a wired or wireless connection. The IP, or Internet Protocol address, is a set of numbers that uniquely identifies a device connected to the network. thanks to the numerical fields that characterize both computer networks and the location of the node within them. There are two versions of IP addresses, IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 is the standard version currently in use and consists of 4 groups of numbers separated by dots, from 0 to 255. The first group of numbers is usually between 1 and 191, while the other 3 can range from 0 to 255. A potential problem with IPv4 is the limited number of combinations, which may become insufficient over time, given the number of devices in the world. However, this issue is currently irrelevant as not all IP addresses are being used at the same time and the number of available combinations is still sufficient. IPv6 is the latest version of IP addresses and consists of 8 groups of 4 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. In theory, IPv6 allows an infinite number of IP addresses to be created, eliminating the problem that could occur with IPv4. We can also have public or private IP addresses and static or dynamic IP addresses. The public IP address is visible and accessible to all hosts on the Internet, while the private IP address is used to uniquely identify a device within a local network. Private IP addresses cannot be used to access the Internet. All public IP addresses fall into one of the following predefined ranges of public IP addresses. For example, 172.32.0.0, 192.0.3.0. These are examples of public IP addresses. There are many more public IP addresses than private IP addresses. But if we see an IP address in the format 10.x.x, we can be sure it represents a private IP address. Dynamic IP addresses are the most common and are used for normal online browsing. When a user connects to the Internet, their ISP assigns them a random IP address that changes with each session or at regular intervals, usually every 24 hours. Dynamic IP addresses offer greater privacy protection to users, allowing them to serve more anonymously. A static IP address, on the other hand, remains constant, although the owner can request it to be changed. Static IP addresses are mainly used in local area networks to communicate with a printer or other computer within the local area network. Data communications within the computer network include both the IP of the sending device and the IP of the receiving device. This information allows the different nodes on the network to communicate and route the data in the correct direction. Router and switch. The main hardware devices that make up the network architecture are routers and switches. The router is a physical or virtual network component that is responsible for sending data packets through different computer networks, ensuring that they reach the network and the destination node correctly. Switches, on the other hand, are devices that connect the various nodes within a single computer network and are equipped with ports through which devices can be connected via network cable, Ethernet. A computer network can also connect its nodes via a wireless interface, thanks to the presence of special access points, Wi-Fi access points. Now we will explain how a network works. Despite the complexity and variety of its technological infrastructure, the way a computer network works is conceptually quite simple. As mentioned earlier, each node is assigned an IP address that allows it to be identified by the switch and other connected devices. Data traffic within the computer network follows a protocol that determines how it is sent and received between the various connected nodes. The switch manages the exchange of data within a single zone of the computer network and, thanks to the use of routers, it is possible to extend communication between several networks, even globally, as is the case with the Internet. There are many typologies of computer networks. One of the most common is LAN. A LAN is a computer network that connects devices in proximity to each other. such as an office or company premises. LANs are very widely used as local IT infrastructures and can vary in size from a few nodes to hundreds of devices. The term LAN is commonly associated with wired networks, while the term WLAN, wireless local area network, is used for wireless networks. Other network typologies are MANs, Metropolitan Area Networks. MANs are computer networks that cover an entire metropolitan area, connecting multiple LANs over a public network infrastructure. MANs can be either private or public, as in the case of networks used to connect devices in smart cities. Another network typology is WAN. WANs, wide area networks, are wide area computer networks such as the Internet that are universally accessible through the interconnection of public and private nodes and distribution infrastructures. The main providers of Internet network infrastructure are Internet Service Providers, ISPs, and Network Service Providers, NSPs. They are responsible for managing the nodes to which users connect through their endpoints, which connect to a router that routes data to the ISP to reach the destination IP. Communications sent by users are not visible to all devices connected to the Internet, but only to those specifically designed to receive them. Other network typologies are SAN, CAN, and PAN. A SAN, storage area network, is used to distribute data storage across a network architecture that can be shared locally or in the cloud, using multiple storage nodes that are managed and orchestrated. The CAN, Campus Area Network, is a special case of a LAN or several LANs contained within a well-defined perimeter, such as a university, hospital, or corporate campus. A PAN, Personal Area Network, is a network used by a single individual that is partially different from the networks described above. The architecture of a PAN is predominantly wireless-oriented and mainly includes mobile devices that can use short-range connections such as Bluetooth rather than traditional Wi-Fi. We also have bus, where each node is directly connected via a connection, star, in which nodes are connected to a series of hubs, which in turn are connected to each other. In this way, all nodes connected to the network can communicate with each other indirectly. Ring, characterized by the fact that the nodes are connected in a loop that ensures direct connection between pairs of adjacent nodes and indirect connection of all intended pairs. Mesh, in which nodes are interconnected by overlapping their connections, thus favoring the exchange of data between certain nodes or sections of the network. This typology is characterized by considerable redundancy, which can be costly but also makes it possible to optimize the use of, for example, different access points in a wireless network. We also have P2P network. P2P architecture involves nodes connected to each other with the same privileges. It is a decentralized model in which the various peers communicate directly with each other without the need for a central controlling node. Each node acts as a both client and server for the other nodes. Famous examples of P2P networks include file-sharing networks and blockchain networks, where each node performs its functions by running software, often open source, that allows all users to verify content. P2P networks on the Internet are characterized by democratic governance, where any proposed change requires the consensus of a variable percentage of nodes. The P2P model can also be adopted in the corporate environment, where each node can share its hardware resources, such as CPU, memory, storage, and network. Another network typology is the client-server network. The client-server architecture is the traditional hierarchical model in which peripheral nodes, clients, communicate via a central server that defines the rules for the resources and data that are transferred and shared within the network. As with P2P networks, there is no particular limit to size, as the client-server architecture can be configured at multiple tiers, either on premises or in the cloud, connecting a large number of nodes. It is the most popular network architecture in an enterprise context due to the high level of control that can be achieved through the management of server nodes. Now we will introduce the topic of online information and web browsers. What is a web browser? A web browser, commonly known as browser, is a software that allows us to navigate between specific resources on the web, such as web pages, images, videos, music, and other types of content, by identifying them through an appropriate URL. Although browsers are primarily identified for use on the web, it is important to note that they can also be used to access information provided by web servers on a local network or to view files on a storage system. The main purpose of any browser is to retrieve a set of resources and display information about them, which in turn can be linked to further information. To do this, the user usually uses an address in the form of a URL by typing it into the address bar of the browser. In general, all users rely on search engines when they need to find something specific on the web. These search engines are able to return a set of results based on the keywords entered during the search. The most widely used search engine is undoubtedly Google. From a visual and usability point of view, the browser interface usually offers several features that are common to all browsers, regardless of the specific software used. Some of the most important features to consider are a right arrow button and a left arrow button, usually in the top left-hand corner, which allow you to navigate back and forth between the pages displayed. A button in the shape of a circular arrow, usually located in the top left-hand corner next to the arrows mentioned before, which allows you to refresh the content currently displayed. A house-shaped button, also usually located in the top left-hand corner, which allows you to return to the browser's homepage if previously set. A button in the shape of vertical dots, horizontal dashes or other similar shapes, this time on the right-hand side of the address bar, which allows you to access the settings of the browser you are using. A star-shaped button, usually located in the address bar on the right, that allows you to save the address of the displayed resource by adding it to a list of favorites. Among the major browsers on the web, Google Chrome deserves a special mention. Google Chrome is a free browser developed by Google for computers and mobile devices. It has several advantages that make it unique. Speed and performance. Compared to other popular browsers, Chrome was the fastest and supports new web technologies such as HTML5. Fast startup. Launches almost instantly when you click on the browser icon, reducing latency compared to other browsers. Security. It treats each tab as a separate process, so if one crashes, it will not affect the rest of the browser. Plus, Chrome works in sandbox mode, protecting your computer from malware unless you actively click on it. Extensions. Due to its popularity, many developers create extensions for Chrome, resulting in a large library of available extensions. These extensions allow many features to be added to the browser. However, Chrome does have some shortcomings. For example, excessive RAM and CPU usage. The browser uses a lot of RAM and CPU resources, which can slow down the computer. Battery usage. Chrome uses more battery power than other browsers, such as Edge, Safari, or Firefox. Therefore, using Chrome on a laptop may reduce your battery life. Privacy. Chrome sends usage data to Google's servers and may also collect other personal data. This raises privacy concerns. It is important to be aware of what Google knows about us and take the necessary precautions to protect your privacy. What are the characteristics of a browser? Tabs. Tabs are an important part of any browser and represent a link to a web page. Chrome's tabs appear at the top of the browser and can be easily opened by clicking the little plus icon next to the Open tab, or from the menu by clicking New tab. Menu. Chrome's menu, represented by three vertical dots next to the address bar, provide access to the browser's various options and settings. New window. It is possible to open multiple Chrome windows at once, each with its own tabs. To do this, simply go to the New Window menu. Start page or new tab. When Chrome is started or a new tab is opened, a default page with the Google logo, a search bar, and thumbnails of the most visited websites are displayed. From the Chrome menu, you can also consult your history. It has the list of pages you have visited, sorted by date, and your downloads. It has the list of files you have downloaded from the internet. Finally, a special feature of the browser are the extensions, which give Chrome a unique identity compared to other browsers currently available. To find and install an extension in Google Chrome, follow these steps. Access the Chrome Web Store. Browse or search for the desired extension and click on it. Press the blue Add on Chrome button. When a pop-up appears, click Add extension. To manage Chrome extensions, simply open the menu, click Preferences, and then click Extensions, or alternatively, the extension manager can be accessed by typing Chrome:/extensions in the address bar. The Extension tab allows you to view all installed extensions. From here, you can enable or disable an extension, control it through Chrome, view the required permissions, and find more details. Now we will explain what is online communication. Online communication refers to the type of communication that takes place through social media and various platforms on the Internet. With the advent of the Internet and the proliferation of new technologies, online communication has become an important part of society. Not only do companies and customers use this form of communication to interact online, but users also use it to share information and data of interest. Online communication offers many key advantages and benefits, including it allows people to communicate wherever they are. The exchange of information and data is bidirectional or even multidirectional, depending on the online channels used. The costs associated with this type of communication are relatively low, making it a cost-effective way to communicate. Instant access to information, so you can keep up with news and events from around the world. Communication can be real-time or delayed, with different media and platforms offering both options. It facilitates learning and allows in-depth exploration of topics of interest. Examples of online communication include video conferencing, email messaging, and real-time chat. Among the best video conferencing apps, we can find Zoom. Zoom is a cloud-based online conferencing service with P2P software that allows you to meet virtually with others via video, audio only, or both, chat in real time, and record sessions for later review. Here are the main features of Zoom. One-to-one meetings. Hold an unlimited number of one-to-one meetings even with a free subscription. Group video conferencing. The ability to host up to 1,000 participants, available with the Enterprise plan, one of the paid plans. The free plan allows video conferences up to 40 minutes with a maximum of 100 participants. Screen sharing. Individual or large group meetings where you can share your screen so everyone can see what you are viewing. Recording. Record meetings or events for future reference. Among the best video conferencing apps, we find Skype. For a long time, Skype was the only way to make free calls and later video calls to family and friends, as well as regular calls at low rates, and it remains one of the preferred solutions today. Firstly, because of its integration with Windows, and secondly, because it still offers options for old-fashioned calls to landlines and mobiles at almost unbeatable rates. Skype is a VoIP (Voice over Internet Protocol) service that allows people to make and receive free voice and video calls over the Internet using a web browser or the dedicated application on a computer, tablet, or smartphone, both for Android and iOS. With Skype, you can also make calls to landlines and mobiles, national and international, and SMS at very competitive rates. Skype makes it easy to make group video calls from within the app, either by manually adding contacts to the call or by sharing the link to the call with people. With the Skype app, you can organize free 24-hour group video calls for up to 100 people on any mobile device, tablet or computer, with screen sharing, recording, and background blurring. Among the best video conferencing apps, we also find Google Meet. Google Meet is Google's own video conferencing platform. It offers a very user-friendly environment, and all you need to use it is a Google account. To enter the official Meet website from a compatible browser such as Chrome, if you are already logged into your Google account, you can simply enter the code provided by the organizer of the video conference and click on the Join button to take part immediately. Alternatively, if you want to host the call, click the New Meeting, Start Meeting Now and Join button. Once you have joined the call, you can share your code by clicking the Meeting Details button on the bottom left. As it is synchronized with your Google account, Google Meet offers very fast access to contacts, allowing you to add them to the call directly from your Gmail inbox. It is also optimized for sharing documents in Google Drive, ensuring instant sharing of any content displayed. Basic features such as microphone on-off, media sharing, and screen sharing are available, but Google Meet also lets you draw on a digital whiteboard in real time, enable auto-generated subtitles, and set video call backgrounds. Gmail is a free mail service provided by Google. It can be accessed via the web, it is supported by all popular browsers, or via application using POP3, IMAP, or Google API protocols. After logging in to Gmail with your Google account, you will find yourself on the main screen of the mail service, which is characterized by a sidebar on the left, where all the mailbox folders are present, a search bar at the top that allows you to search filter the mails by keywords, and the central part that is nothing more than the list of all the mails received and present in the mailbox. Now we will explain how to send and manage emails with Gmail. To send a new email, simply click the right icon on the top left-hand corner and enter the recipient, subject, and body of the email. To attach a file to your email, click on the paperclip icon and then browse your PC for the file you want to attach. To read an email, simply click on the title and the email will open in full, allowing you to reply to it by clicking on the reply icon, or forward it to one or more recipients by clicking on the three dots next to reply and selecting forward. In this module, we will talk about potential threats and how to protect our computer devices and data. Cyber attacks. The last few years have seen an exponential increase in the frequency, impact, and scale of cyber attacks worldwide, making it extremely difficult to identify the predators and immediately differentiate between the sources of a cyber attack. These are malicious actions carried out by individuals or criminal organizations with the aim of damaging IT systems, which can include infrastructure, networks, electronic devices, applications and online digital services, and so on. Typically, the objectives of such attacks are to steal data, block activities, disrupt services, steal user credentials, and gain unauthorized access to information. According to the NICCS, the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies, a cyber attack is defined as an attempt to gain unauthorized access to and/or compromise system services, resources, or information. It consists of a deliberate attempt to circumvent the security services or controls of a digital information system in order to change the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. This precise definition refers to malicious actions by individuals or organizations aimed at the theft, damage, or complete destruction of specific targets. We will now explain the differences between hackers and crackers. When it comes to the perpetrators of attacks, a distinction must be made between hackers and crackers. The term hacker refers to computer science and programming professionals who embrace a culture and ethos associated with the idea of free software. This category includes activists and computer security professionals who ethically use hacking techniques to identify vulnerabilities in a system and are known as white hat hackers. On the other hand, the term cracker, also known as black hat hacker, refers to a hacker who is able to infiltrate computer networks without authorization with the aim of damaging the system, stealing personal data and financial information, such as credit card numbers and bank details, or gaining unauthorized access to personal or corporate accounts in order to make money transfers. But what is the purpose of cyber attacks? Their classification is linked to the underlying motives, which consequently determine the modalities and characteristics of the malicious action. When a cyber attack is politically motivated, the perpetrators often try to hide the real motive by diverting public attention elsewhere. Conversely, if the target of a cyber attack is financial and is carried out by hackers, there is less interest in hiding the motives and more emphasis on covering up the traces of criminal activity. Cyberattacks against organizations, both governmental and private, and individual citizens usually take the form of cyber warfare, the criminal activities of the hackers mentioned above, and activism. The first group includes attacks aimed at spreading alarm and discontent. In particular, cyber activism includes protests against the actions of governments, corporations, or other organizations, as well as actions that promote social change. Most of these attacks use distributed denial of service, known as DDoS, a malicious tactic in which a number of previously compromised computers or devices direct traffic to a single target website in order to overload the network or block the target's processing capabilities, rendering the site inaccessible. In other cases, cyberactivism is carried out through defacement attacks, which consist of altering the content of a page or website by illegally inserting critical or sarcastic text. There are many different typologies of cyber attacks aimed at damaging computer systems, which can be divided into two macro categories: syntactic attacks and semantic attacks. Syntactic attacks are direct and are based on the distribution and use of malicious software by users. Semantic attacks are indirect and involve the manipulation of correct information and the dissemination of false information. Below, we outline the most common cyberattacks belonging to the first category. A typology of cyberattack is malware. The term malware, derived from the words malicious and software, refers to any computer program designed to damage the functioning and security of an operating system. These programs spread mainly via the Internet, often through email or simple web browsing. The different types of malware include viruses, Trojan horses, keyloggers, worms, and backdoors. Digging deeper, there is also a polyform malware, which constantly changes its appearance, and metamorphic malware, which completely changes its code. Both types are particularly difficult to detect. It is important to note that malware does not directly damage the physical hardware of a system or network equipment. However, it can still encrypt or delete data, alter or compromise the basic functionality of a computer, and spy on users' activities without their consent or authorization, often without their knowledge. One of the most dangerous and well-known types of malware is ransomware, from the word ransom. Ransomware is a type of malicious software that blocks access to a computer by encrypting the data it contains, with the aim of extorting a ransom from the victim in order to regain access to their data. A ransom that, if not paid as demanded by the criminals within the allotted time, can lead to the definitive loss of the data. The most famous and feared ransomware is called CryptoLocker, where the ransom demanded by the criminals must be paid in cryptocurrency. Another type of cyber attack is phishing. In this context, the term phishing is a variant of the English word phishing and refers to the techniques used to phish for a user's financial details and passwords. Phishing is a form of fraud perpetrated on the Internet, where the victim is tricked into revealing personal information, financial details, or credit card access codes by someone pretending to be from a reputable financial institution or service. Usually, the message sent to the user contains a link that appears to lead to the website of the financial institution or service with which the user is registered. However, if the user enters their confidential details, they will end up in the hands of criminals. Another similar threat, aimed at obtaining access information to online financial services or other services that require registration, comes from the use of computer viruses and follows similar modes of infection. Another type of cyber attack is the one known as man-in-the-middle. It occurs when a person covertly intercepts or alters communication between two parties who believe they are communicating directly with each other without outside interference. A common example of attack occurs when the attacker exploits a Wi-Fi network to intercept the user's communication, either by compromising the connection of the seemingly secure router or by exploiting a vulnerability in the router's configuration. The aim is to intercept user sessions. A more recent variant of this attack is known as man-in-the-browser, where the cybercriminal, who succeeds in installing malware on the victim's computers, records the data exchanged between the browser and the target sites into which he has inserted the malicious code. This type of attack allows several people to be affected at the same time and has the advantage that it can be carried out remotely. Another type of cyber attack is the DOS attack, or denial of service. A denial of service attack is a type of malfunction caused by an intentional attack that deliberately exhausts the resources of a computer system that provides a service, rendering it unable to function properly. The attacker causes a denial of service by overloading the system with a large number of connection requests beyond its capacity to handle. As a result, the system slows down or may even crash. Typical targets of DOS attacks include e-commerce sites, online casinos, and any company or organization offering online services. In some cases, the attacker may even demand payment to stop the attack. Another typology of cyber attack is SQL injection. In the attack technique known as SQL injection, the attacker targets vulnerabilities in databases that use the SQL language for data entry. This involves inadequately filtered user input, characterized by the presence of meta characters such as double hyphens, inverted commas, and semicolons. These meta characters allow the SQL interpreter to modify commands externally. Attacks of this type often occur in programs with outdated interfaces and ineffective input filters, making them an ideal target for cyber attacks. By using certain function characters, an unauthorized user can inject SQL commands and manipulate the database. The last type of cyber attack we will analyze is the zero-day attack. Next-generation attacks pose a significant threat to cybersecurity. Experts say they are extremely difficult to trace, although they are often attributed to a single site or group of individuals. These attackers discover and exploit vulnerabilities in browsers and email applications that are widely used by users. The term zero-day indicates that these are newly discovered vulnerabilities that developers have not had time to fix before they are exploited. There are currently two main types of attack: zero-day vulnerabilities, which refer to flaws in the protection of software within a browser or application, and zero-day exploits, which use these vulnerabilities to install malicious software on a device. How can we defend ourselves from these cyber attacks? It is essential that every individual, company, and organization takes robust protective measures to defend themselves against cyber attacks and ensure the security of their files, assets, and business. The first phase of prevention consists of reducing the attack surface available to cybercriminals. and centralized and planned deployment of software to address identified vulnerabilities. However, it is important to note that reducing the attack surface cannot completely eliminate the risk of being attacked. Therefore, organizations should develop appropriate defensive strategies to manage the incident response phases and subsequent investigations to identify the causes of the attack and the systems and data affected. The implementation of antivirus and anti-malware solutions, always up to date, capable of detecting attempted attacks, as is the adoption of effective anti-spam solutions. It is important to remember that many threats are delivered by email even if it is certified. User training is also an integral part of the protection plan. Employees who do not follow security procedures and policies run the risk of inadvertently introducing viruses into the system and causing serious damage to company assets. For example, by failing to delete suspicious email attachments or inserting unidentified USB drives. Statistically, the most common and damaging IT security problems are often the result of unintentional employee errors, especially in the incident response phase, when a defense plan has not yet been defined and is often limited to restoring services that have been attacked. In addition, it is essential that the protection systems in place are regularly tested to assess their reliability and effectiveness. In addition to the security audit, penetration tests can also be carried out, which consist of an external assessment of the security level of the IT system by simulating an actual attack.